It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, July 11th. It's 7-Eleven. We finally have made it to the best day of the summer, 7-Eleven, because I believe they do free Slurpees on 7-Eleven. Is this still a thing? Do we do Slurpees on July 11th? If so, I know where I'm going to end up because it's a hot one here in Los Angeles. Where are you guys? Is it hot where you are? Is it hot where you are uh in all over the country? I don't know. I mean, maybe you're in Texas. Are we still dealing with hurricane stuff? I hope we're all good. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for those of you that stuck by me for those first 20 seconds of no sound. I've been having tech issues. I think it's like and they're all self-created. Like, it's not the gods against me. It's me against me. I'm standing in my own way. I am my biggest problem. It's me. I'm the problem. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Yesterday, I left the camera on for about 10, 15 seconds after I said goodbye to you guys and got a lot of DMs saying, Donna, I'm still watching you. And like, bless that I was able to figure that out. And then today, I had no sound. But you know what? This is just the way that life works. When life presents obstacles, we keep going. We keep going. Hope everyone's doing incredible today. I survived. My name is Donna Bowling, and I am marked safe from another Wednesday without Love Island. It was tough. It was a struggle, but we made it through. And today we have a very exciting Thursday evening planned because Real Housewives of OC premieres. And of course, Love Island comes back, which is really what I'm excited about. But we're going to talk about so much today. So cozy on in to your chairs. Get yourself a cup of coffee, a glass of water. If you're crazy, get yourself a cocktail. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It is Daily Dose of Donna. I love reading your guys' comments. It's so fun. Okay, we are going to get into everything. Mark Ward says, pour your favorite beverage tonight, but don't drive into any houses. That is our public service announcement for Daily Dose of Donna. You may drink, but do not put your dog in a car and drive recklessly after fighting with Dirty John Jansen. I cannot wait. I understand that this is like actually psychotic I can't wait for the best season ever where Shannon has to cry about drunk driving. Like, what are we doing? Who are we in this world that we take pleasure off people's pain? It's a sad, sad time, but this is reality TV. I don't only take pleasure off people's pain. I actually take a lot of pleasure in people's happiness. I like watching people win and like get good things happening to them on reality shows too. I do not take pleasure in Kaylor's pain. And I posted a TikTok and an Instagram reel after yesterday's Love Island recap where I said, I've had it. I've had it with the Aaron, fuck, Aaron of Kaylor. Apparently, the rumors are that the people of Fiji, it's like the ocean call now. You know, there used to be like in Moana, like the oceans. Remember the grandma would say like, it's the call of the ocean to Fiji. But it's Kaylor crying. And now when Kaylor cries, this is alleged. Okay. This is alleged. When Kaylor goes, Aaron, all the fish start swimming to the shore. We have some whale spottings. There's some sea otters. They do some coordinated dance and they start singing Under the Sea. It's really cool. So I can't wait for more of that. In fact, this would be a great time to visit Fiji. You know who is visiting Fiji is Katie Maloney. Now, we talked about this briefly yesterday, and I said, please, please, please. I'm obsessed with that song, by the way. Please, please, please. Please do not put Katie Maloney on Love Island. Please don't. No offense, Katie, But I don't wanna see that. I don't want a VPR Love Island crossover. We have Ariana, but she's not talking about VPR. It doesn't feel like we're watching VPR, but you put Katie on the show, all of a sudden now we're gonna talk VPR. And, you know, the gods met us halfway, those of you that agreed with me, because she will not be on Love Island, the show. She will be on like the After Sun show, whatever it is. It's like the Watch What Happens Live of Love Island. I have still not seen any episodes of it. I know Johnny Bananas from the challenge and, the MTV world. He was on, and Traders, obviously, he was on it last weekend. So I imagine this is one of those shows that they kind of just bring in, um, reality stars that they can. I have no interest. Sorry. Sorry. But I mean, I'm glad that she's going to be, but I didn't have an interest in After Sun even before Katie was on it. So it has nothing to do with Katie. I just personally do not like, I'm already giving 6 hours of my life a week to Love Island. I don't need to give that seventh or eighth or whatever it is. But tonight it's back. We're going to see the movie night, the second part of movie night, which I'm going to give you my guesses. This is what's going to happen. Leah's going to get attacked by producers again because the producers hate Leah. Um, Rob is going to, put on his overalls. Aaron is going to, say I'm sorry a million times. Kayla's going to tap that cheek. Tap that cheek. Tonight, I want us to do a drinking game, not for Shannon, but for Kayla. Every time she goes, Aaron, we take a shot. We're all going to be having to be rolled out of our homes tonight, but like at least it'll be fun to watch together. Anyway, we'll talk about that, of course, tomorrow. I appreciate anyone that's into the niche Love Island references. I'm having way too much fun with this. Oh, this would be a good moment to mention how Morgan from Morgan's Pop Talk, she's a friend of mine. She's also a podcaster. She posted an Instagram reel yesterday, which is a crazy niche intertwining of reality shows. So if you watched America's Sweethearts, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader show. If you watch that, you remember that there was a girl, I think her name is Ariana. Yes, Ariana, who was cut like at the final day because she was petite. She was too short. Do you guys remember that? She was like 5'2". And I took personal offense to it because I am, a shorty. And like that doesn't change. You can rehearse, you can do your high kicks, you can be better and better and better and better and better, but you just can't get taller. So I was really annoyed by the fact that they cut her for that reason at the way end, but whatevs. Anyway, that situation, she has since gotten another job. I think she's on the Miami Dolphins cheerleader team or something. But she posted on either a TikTok, Instagram, or something. She posted something along the sense that she is it's really insane watching Love Island, knowing that she got dumped by someone who's now on the show, basically dumped her to go on Love Island. And no one really understood exactly who she was talking to until we figured out that it's probably Kendall. Yeah, if you're watching the YouTube show, you know what I'm talking about. I am so pumped. I am so pumped. Kendall. Because allegedly, apparently, Ariana only follows Kendall from the cast, and Kendall follows Ariana back. I knew it. This Kendall guy, I think he is on Love Island. I think he is actually the most dangerous there because he puts on such a happy front. Everything's good, positive, good, happy. Aaron was similar, by the way. British Aaron. Oh, I'm the best friend. Everyone loves me. I love everyone. I've got everyone's back. But sometimes those guys that are over the top, kind, sweet, friendly, besties with everyone on everyone's team, those are the ones to watch for. Those are the the sociopaths. You want a good person to be real, like show some attitude sometimes. I don't know. Kendall worries me. Tonight when you watch the show, you're going to notice that this is a Kendall impression. One of my dosers sent me a DM and she said, Donna, why did you do that about Kendall? And I immediately was like, oh, here we go. I'm going to get shit on because I tried to make people laugh. And she goes, "That's all I can see now. I wasn't seeing it before." But it's just like, Carl, now that's going to happen. Now that's all I see. And for that, I say thank you. Or actually, for that, I say you're welcome. What can I say except you're welcome? Let's move on. Um, you guys, there's not really that much going on, so I pulled some crazy random stories. I thought this was kind of a fun one. Not like it's important, but I thought it was kind of fun because those of you who are in my age range, and I know that my dosers range from, in their 20s to I've got like 70 and 80-year-old dosers out there. Shout out. Shout out to you 70 and 80-year-olds. Love you. The fact that you listen and watch, like listen to and watch me makes me beyond honestly, like I just want an audience filled with 80-year-olds. I would have so much fun. But Keri Russell, Felicity from Felicity, if you are in my age range, meaning born in 1981, upper millennial, I think I'm like at the top, tippity top of the millennials. My son likes to call me and like, oh my God, you're such a millennial, he says. But you know what? And so we're having fun. Keri Russell was on Mickey Mouse Club, the new Mickey Mouse Club when we were kids. And so if you're like me, I used to go to school every day, come home, and 5 and 5:30 p.m. Disney Channel every single day. Kids Incorporated, Mickey Mouse Club. It was like the lineup of the century. You didn't need anything else in life. That was it. It was must see TV. It was appointment television for us kids. So Keri Russell was on the older age because I don't know, she just like she started the show a little bit earlier than like the Christina Aguileras and Britney Spears. But she was on a podcast yesterday. She was on the podcast called Dinner's on Me, which is Jesse Tyler Ferguson. I think that's his name, the guy from Modern Family. And she was talking to him and she was saying that why she left the series at age 17 is because she said it's usually girls who looked like they were sexually active, which probably I was one of the first. They're like, she's out, that one is gone. Mouseketeers aren't on the roster, she said. The alleged age limit wasn't enforced for male Mouseketeers as actors Tony Luca and JC Chazé from NSYNC, who starred in the series from 91 to 95, left the show when they turned 19. She said the boys stayed till they were like 19. I was like, by the way, I had sex with that person, so I know that they have had sex for real. So did Keri Russell have sex with JC Chazé from Mickey Mouse Club? Like, I'm dead over that story if that's the case. She didn't reveal who her fling was with, but during the time that she was a Mouseketeer, towards the end, she also had Justin Timberlake there, Ryan Gosling, Britney Spears, and Christina Aguilera. They joined the show in 1993 and left in 1995 when they were around 15. But she says that Russell previously admitted she was lucky to get out alive from her time as a Mouseketeer, telling W Magazine that she left with her sanity and her dignity. I am so interested in this story because for me, this was like a big part of my childhood. I was obsessed with Mickey Mouse Club. I was obsessed with The Party. Do you guys remember The Party? The Party was a band that they created from the new Mickey Mouse Club towards the beginning. It was in the early years. It was before Britney Spears joined and like Justin Timberlake. But it was Damon and Tiffany and Dee Dee and Chase and Albert. There was nothing like The Party. And actually, I'm embarrassed to say it, but sometimes I really do like to play songs from The Party in my car and like blast them. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go and find The Party music. I mean, I don't want to get in trouble here, but this may be worth it. If I just play like a second from The Party, I want you guys to see if you think that this is music that you would get into. It was like a dream for kids to have this growing up. Now, while I look this up, I'm curious from you guys. Did you used to watch Mickey Mouse Club all the time? And did you also have crushes on those guys or maybe the girls? I was obsessed. Like, oh, this is it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And I'm scared to get in trouble. I'll talk over it the entire time, but I feel like we have to do it just for a second, okay? Ready?
The same thing over and over.
Did you get that? We'll start over after we do it. Okay, good. So, I mean, this is your starting point.
Oh yeah, Tiffany. This is really sad. Tiffany passed away, one of the girls.
Okay, stand by for rehearsal.
So it was Tiffany Hale, Damon Pampolina, Chasen Hampton, Albert Fields, and Dee Dee. That was Tiffany. It was so good. I mean, this is a dream. And honestly, I feel so sad that like he.
Let me tell you that I found love. Ooh, when you see me smiling, don't you worry.
Okay, I'm gonna stop. I don't want to stop, but I'm gonna stop. This is what I do. Like when I have a cocktail in me, which I don't. I am absolutely sober, but when I have a cocktail in me, like don't be putting on, I don't know, Dua Lipa. Put on the party. I'm going to have a party. That's what I would like to do for my next birthday party, okay? Let's move on. Did you guys hear that Savannah Guthrie was on Watch What Happens Live last night and talked about the fact that she lost a tooth day drinking? Speaking of drinking, did you guys find this story wild? I don't know if you guys saw it, but Savannah was on Watch What Happens Live and was talking about the fact that she went day drinking for a Today Show's Christmas party with her coworkers, woke up and felt something missing. And those Jeff Lewis fans out there are going to remember that Michael Beck, who actually I'll talk about on Patreon a little bit this weekend because I spoke to him on we were texting back and forth yesterday about Southern hospitality. But Michael Beck, who is Jeff Lewis's producer from Hollywood House Lift, he woke up one day after drinking on the Jeff Lewis show and just was like missing a molar. And I just don't understand how that happens, but apparently it happens after day drinking. Savannah said that while celebrating at the Today Show's Christmas party she's mentioned it on her appearance on Watch What Happens Live, but while celebrating at her Today Show's Christmas party, when you're at the Today Show Christmas party, it starts at 3 p.m. because I guess they have like a 6 a.m. show the next morning. She and co-host Hoda reminisced about being the last one standing along with their colleagues, Jenna Bush, Hager, Laura Jarrett, Chanel Jones, Dylan Dreyer. Anyway, we all left. And the next thing I know, the morning I wake up, I'm like, I feel like something's missing. It was a molar. And I was like, where is it? And they said, maybe it's at the Pebble Bar. It was gone. Since it happened around the holidays, Guthrie admitted she let it go for weeks, and Cop B, Hoda insisted it was longer than weeks. I was like, go to the dentist. Guthrie contended you couldn't see it since it was a molar. Oh my God, that's so funny. Have you guys ever had anything like that happen? Like actually lost a tooth out day drinking? Too good. I like hearing these stories, and I'll tell you why. It makes me feel like our lives are not as hot of a mess as we think they are. You know what I mean? When you find out that the Today Show host, Savannah Guthrie, who seems to have her life very together, goes and gets wasted one day and loses a tooth and then lets it stay out for weeks and weeks and weeks because she's just busy. I don't know. It makes me feel better about my life. Maybe that's why we watch reality TV. Cheers to that. Speaking of looking at other people's lives, sometimes we tend to compare ourselves. And this is a perfect time to bring up that BetterHelp is sponsoring Daily Dose of Donna this week. Because as we know, as Tinks has famously said, comparison is the thief of joy. And it's easy to envy other people's lives, or in some cases, be happy for your own life when you compare yourself to them. It might look like they have it all together, but they probably don't. And therapy can now help you focus on what you want. I love therapy. As you guys know, I'm a big talker. This is what I do. I talk all the time. So I love talking to people that actually are getting paid to listen to me and give me advice. So therapy is a great idea for someone like me. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online and it's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Donna. That's DANA to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Donna. And if you wake up the morning after a crazy day of drinking and you're missing a tooth, that's the day, as Mark says, to call BetterHelp. That's when you know that you need BetterHelp. Thanks, BetterHelp, for sponsoring Daily Dose of Donna. Well, because absolutely zero, none, no one has asked for it, JoJo Siwa is getting a new docuseries. JoJo Siwa is getting a docuseries by the creator of Dance Moms. So that part I actually was happy about because he, at least this man, I would imagine, knows who he is. Jeff Collins is the Dance Moms creator, and he will be the creator of this new docuseries about JoJo Siwa. It will be about her life and career, and as she's set to release her own EP titled Guilty Pleasure. I actually think this will be quite interesting because I think it would be interesting to learn a little bit more about, just like the transitions in her life. It will examine the life of the Karma vocalist, 21, on a personal and professional level, according to Variety. The series, centered on the Omaha, Nebraska native, I had no idea she's from Omaha, falls under a pact Collins inked with. So, okay, who cares? In the docuseries, cameras will get an in-depth look into her creative process as she charts her course as an adult pop star, evolving from the beloved child star audiences adored on screen. Siwa will reveal what it's like to be one of the world's most famous 20-year-olds running various businesses, fulfilling a record deal, and living by herself for the first time. Okay. Are we going to watch it? Are we interested in it? I'm imagining it'll be interesting to watch. If not, we can definitely watch it together. So, maybe we'll be the audience. Maybe the audience will, be completely just dosers. That will be the audience. This reminded me, I haven't talked about this. We don't talk about Kelly and Mark on the show that often, but Kelly and Mark came up a bunch this week because Teresa was on their show and she compared Louis to Mark, to Mark. She had her husband, Louis, come out and she was like, I think they look like the same person. They're both Puerto Rican and Mexican. And then secondly, I saw a clip yesterday and I'm not watching The Bachelorette. Should I be? Should we be watching The Bachelorette this season? Oh, my brain is all over the place with this. Just remember this. Lance sent me an article yesterday. For those Bachelorette fans, Lance sent me an article yesterday that says, it's from Deadline, which is very, reputable, that Bachelor in Paradise is coming back. For all of you Bachelor in Paradise fans, it's returning to ABC in 2025 for season 10. It's going to be, it took a hiatus this year, but the network announced on Wednesday during Disney's Summer Television Critics Association panel that Bachelor in Paradise will be coming back. No word on when the season will air. They haven't even shot it. I know that. Season 9 aired in the fall last year. It usually they shoot it in June because I know Lance has been always out of town on my birthday shooting that show. This year he was doing the Netflix show in Arizona, but normally in June he shoots Bachelor in Paradise. So that's kind of exciting, right? That's exciting that it will be on tonight. So, I mean, it will be on next year. So for those of you Bachelor in Paradise fans, but I saw this clip of Kelly Ripa talking to Jen, the new Bachelorette. I think I saw it on TikTok or something. Allegedly or apparently, Kelly Ripa does not like the Bachelor franchise. Like she's really, really anti. And I find it interesting because the show has been on for essentially as long as Kelly Ripa's been on that show, and they're both ABC. So like at some point you have to just like give up the hate towards The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. But she apparently really doesn't like the show. And she has no qualms about it. But Jen, they keep putting the people on the show as guests because of an ABC crossover. And Jen was on the show, I think it aired yesterday or the day before. And Kelly was being like a little cold to her about it. And she said to Kelly, well, where did you meet your husband? Wasn't it on TV? And Kelly like immediately took offense to it. And she's like, well, no, I mean, are you acting on The Bachelorette? Are you acting? I didn't marry Mateo Santos. I married Mark Consuelos. And I found it so off-putting on Kelly Ripa's end. Not to say that I really adore Kelly Ripa by any means. There's a lot going on there that I'm really interested. Like what I would do to find out why Kelly Ripa and Jessica Seinfeld are no longer friends. What I would do. I need to know everything. I want to be a fly on the wall in Howard Stern, Beth Stern, Jessica Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld, Kelly and Mark, and throw in Andy Cohen there too. I want to know what is happening behind the scenes there. I have heard multiple cases and sources through the years that Kelly is not a very nice girl, so I'm not surprised by that. I think that it was I think she definitely has like a little bit of an ego, but I really liked her book. So that threw me. She wrote like a book of essays, like a memoir book of essays. And I listened to the audiobook last year, a year before, and I was like, wow, I actually really like her. Sarah Jessica Parker as well. Like, let's get SJP in there too. I want to know everything. I guess I just want to know what really happens behind the scenes with rich New Yorkers. Like, that's it. But not Roni. I want to know this crew specifically. I just want to know. Okay, so anyway, that was just a little side note because things are kind of slow these days. Things are a little bit slow. But let's get into the crux of the matter. Did you guys watch $1 Million Listing LA last night? It premiered on Bravo and then of course on Peacock today. I will tell you guys one thing. It's going to be hard for me to cover a show like $1 Million Listing. Not enough happens on a show like $1 Million Listing for me to be able to recap and cover it. But I find these shows fascinating. And I love what they did with $1 Million Listing, that they pare down the cast. So really, we just have it about Josh Altman and then his wife, of course, Josh Flagg and Tracy Tudor. And these three are three incredible, reality stars. By the way, Lisa Kay, super sticker. Thank you, my love. Thank you. And anyway, so this is a really, really good cast. Obviously, they're going through a crazy time in the real estate world, especially here in Los Angeles. I'm sure it's everywhere, but here in LA and California, it's horrible. There's like all these crazy taxes that are being imposed on high expensive sales. We learned a little bit about it on all these different reality shows, but it's been a very, very hard time over here in Los Angeles. But the show started yesterday, and what we know right now is that while they're going through some challenging times, and by the way, challenging for them is like, oh no, I'm making $7 million instead of $8 million this year. But Tracy Tudor is still with her boyfriend at the beginning of the season, but we know that they break up at some point during the season. They shot this a long time ago. Then we have Josh Flagg, who's again single and says that he's slowed down on his drinking. Again, I don't know when they shot this. But it seems like it was a long time ago. And then Josh Altman. What I find interesting is that a few months ago, I was out for drinks and we ran into the showrunner of $1 Million Listing. And I started speaking to her. It was actually the showrunner of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and the showrunner of $1 Million Listing and the showrunner of Hollywood House Lift, right? So the three of them. And then I was just there trying to get all the tea. So I asked the showrunner of $1 Million Listing, I was like, I either I asked about Tracy or she just told me, but she said that Tracy Tudor is a dream to work with, like an absolute dream. And I've heard this actually a couple times. I have another friend who works with her vis-a-vis her family, etc. And she says she's wonderful. So I really, really like knowing that. It makes me like the show more because Tracy could come off maybe like a little bit cold, but I think she's actually really good. Josh Flagg to me, I don't know what it is. There's something about Josh Flagg that makes him the most interesting character to watch on any of these reality shows. Like, I find him fascinating. His dry, sarcastic, kind of monotone approach. He's kind of a hater, like, but so likable. I just really like him. There's a rumor that Josh cheated on his husband. Yes, when he was married, that was the rumor. But I wonder why he broke up with his boyfriend that was showing up in last season. Um, I loved it. I love that show. Yes, Josh's grandma. Remember Josh's grandma in the early episodes? Like that woman is I mean, she's very, very wealthy, but she reminds me of like my family, the Jewish, Holocaust survivor, immigrant to America, hardworking person, like dream. That's all I want to talk to. Like, I just want to talk to people like that forever. I love Josh. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk Hannah Berner. This is an interesting story. So, those of you guys that are into Summer House and also maybe Gigglers from the Giggly Squad podcast, this will be quite fascinating to talk about. Hannah Berner was on Summer House for seasons 4 and 5, right? She was only on for 2. I know someone out there is going to tell me if I'm wrong. Season 4 was the season that I just finished rewatching. So I remember that one really well because she was hooking up with Luke. Remember, she was kind of like going through this, are they together or are they not with Luke? And it was his first season. She was still at that time working for, was she doing a lot of like Betches content at that time? She was on seasons 3 to 5. See, Michelle, she's like a freaking Bravo historian. She knows everything about these shows. You should be my researcher. And I really liked her season 3 and most of season 4. And now rewatching season 4, I like her even more because she's the only one that kind of called Amanda and Kyle out on their bullshit. And that dynamic was crazy. I've talked about it already on season 4 between Amanda and Luke and Hannah. It was a really weird situation. In my opinion, I thought Amanda had like the hots for Luke in season 4. Now, season 5 of Summer House was the COVID season. And I just recently started rewatching it. I'm only about like 3 or 4 episodes in. I kind of forgot about it because it's really not a very happy season. This was the season where obviously they were stuck in the house with COVID, where Lindsay brought her boyfriend who, never made her sandwiches, and she broke up with him halfway through the season. This was where they were stuck in a different house. It wasn't their normal house, and they were stuck in this house. They couldn't go out. They couldn't do anything. It was a little bit of a boring season. Danielle was working every day. Do you remember this? She was like, I need to have internet connection because I'm the founder and the CEO of a non-functioning company, Stravy. That was the guy, Stravy. So in this season, and I haven't gotten to the part to rewatch again, but I do remember briefly, like Hannah was tough. She was really tough in the season. She was not happy with Luke because Luke brought Sierra in. Remember that? Luke brings in Sierra as his like friend, but ends up being a girl that he was totally screwing for or like hooking up with for on and off for the last 2 years. So he was two-timing. I can't believe I said two-timing. Like I went to the sock hop and then two-timed a girl. So Luke was two-timing Hannah and Sierra. And Hannah finds out about this early on in the season. And I think it kind of spiraled her. I'm not going to lie. Like, I think she spirals in this season big time, partially because of COVID. She mentions the fact that she was kind of stuck in her house for so long, living with her parents. Like, I think she just wasn't in the best place. And the season brought out not the best side of her. She ended up hiring this, like, I can't remember if it was like a psychic to create this drama. And then she started a lot of shit with Kyle. And I remember when Hannah left that show, hand to God, when Hannah left that show, I was so happy because she drove me crazy in season 5. And I actually really didn't like her after that show. But Giggly Squad, the podcast, has changed my opinion. I can't tell if it's because I like Paige so much on that show and I laugh so much that I inadvertently like Hannah. I'm not really sure. But I do like Hannah now, and I'm happy for her because clearly her career is taken off. She's a very successful comedian. She just got a Netflix special that released on Tuesday called We Ride at Dawn. I haven't watched it yet. I'll watch it this weekend. And she's making the podcast rounds. She was on Taylor Strecker's podcast. She was on Call Her Daddy. She was on Jimmy Fallon, I want to say, the other night. And then, of course, she was on, in addition to 15 other shows, she was on the BFFs podcast, which is Dave Portnoy. That was today. So on their TikTok, they release a moment where they talk about why she was fired from Summer House. And just remember, on Giggly Squad, they never, ever talk about Summer House. Like, the name Summer House is never brought up on their podcast. The closest that they talk about it is just like in this last episode, Hannah was saying, it's summertime, so I know it's going to be tough. And basically they openly say that Paige shoots her reality show in the summer for these few weeks. And during these few weeks, life gets a little bit challenging and Paige is more sensitive and she definitely feels more, off the wall or whatever. But they don't talk about Summer House. They don't talk about Kyle. They don't talk about, anyone specific. They just talk about the fact that Paige is on a reality show. So we never really hear the story about why Hannah is no longer on Summer House. She mentioned it today or yesterday on this podcast, and there's a lot of comments about it, but let's talk about this first. Let's watch it together. How about that? And of course, I'm going to mention Face Reality 16 because she is the reason that I have this clip for you guys. Here we go.
Being fired from Summer House made me feel like it made me want to get a Netflix special.
Fuck
I
you.
wouldn't have gotten a Netflix special if I didn't get fired from.
Did you get
from
fired
things.
because that's true? Because you were sponsoring a rival seltzer drink?
Oh wow, Dave is on his shit. The truth is, beef started because I did an ad for Truly Seltzer, and I didn't know that I wasn't allowed to.
So that's a yes.
But I know Bravo didn't fire me. Just some people on the cast got annoyed at me
Because they have their own drink?
Yeah,
Are they the lover boy people?
Yeah, but I mean,
Is that a thing? Is that a real drink?
I promote it. We drink it. That was like a big storyline on the show. I didn't know that I wasn't allowed to drink other drinks. And I think some of these shows become a lot of egos. And it's like, it's my show, it's my drink, and you can't do that. And there's no rules. And it just becomes fighting over egos and screen time. And it's not that fun.
So if it wasn't because of the seltzer, what was the argument with Kyle and Amanda that ended things? Or is that really what ended things or not?
See, I don't even know who those people
Yeah, it was just layers and layers of just, honestly, it was down to egos of people didn't fuck with me anymore. It was kind of embarrassing. And people basically we don't want you to be our friend. And I was like,
how mean.
And I was on a talk show at the time. I was on Summer House and I got fired. And in that moment, you have nothing. That kind of shit makes you motivated to get on stage and
get a Netflix special.
So that's today, right? The Netflix.
Okay. So comments are interesting. Brian Moylan, who a lot of you guys know, he's a writer for Vulture and he talks about all these shows. He writes books. Says what she's leaving out, though, is how much she annoyed fans with her behavior. That's what got her fired way more than Kyle. If fans loved her, they would have kept her no matter what Kyle said. And people are agreeing. And then, other comments, for example, say Hannah was completely unhinged her last season on Summer House. Let's not pretend that didn't happen. Someone also says that she made a really messed up comment on her podcast about Luke's mental health, and that's why she was fired. I don't even remember what the comment was. Maybe one of you guys found that. Okay. Whoa. This is the craziest comment I've ever seen in my life. It's 17 paragraphs. Oh my God. It is not that is a Hannah stan, if anyone. It says this. Okay, Becca Ann Franzipan is a big Hannah stan. Say that 10 times. She says, if you watched Hannah's last season, you saw the first fight, which was ridiculous and over trash. And Kyle jumped to, you were not invited to our wedding. Note, Paige and Sierra weren't doing housework, but Kyle never went for them. And Amanda threw a cup at Hannah. This was COVID, and instead of filming just at the weekend, they weren't allowed to leave the house for 3 months and didn't have parties. So very much not the normal season. The Luke of it all had dragged on for ages, and the immediate time before filming, he was joining Hannah's Instagram live streams and being very much into the let's act like this is going to be a thing. And then he showed up with Sierra without warning her. Amanda could not cope with Hannah choosing to be friends with Sierra, and there was this narrative that Hannah was trying to turn Sierra against Luke, when Sierra was actually already dating someone at the time. Paige has since publicly apologized for letting Hannah be treated like she was by Kyle. She acknowledged she could even see where it was going and didn't want to be brought down, even though she knew it was wrong. The reunion was the clearest premeditated gang up I've seen on a reunion. The drinks thing has come up because of the Kyle Watch What Happens live comments re the rival drink that Claudia from Morning Toast is a co-owner. In the same season, Kyle, Carl, and Luke nearly had a physical fight because Kyle and Carl didn't like how Luke was treating Sierra and even admitted that Luke had treated Hannah badly. Then at the reunion, suddenly it was Hannah, made it all up with Luke. Hannah had a bad edit. Kyle is treated differently at the reunions because of the edit. I couldn't finish the last reunion because of the way Kyle spoke to. Okay. Look, I would say this. That was a long ass comment. I would say this. I personally feel like the alcohol part was maybe a topper or the straw that broke the camel's back, or it was the smoke that kind of like started the fire, right? Hannah is Hannah is a lot. And I think she was a lot that season. But Amanda really didn't like Hannah. And I can't figure that out. And Kyle really didn't like Hannah either. Amanda and Kyle didn't like Hannah. I don't know if Amanda didn't like Hannah because Kyle didn't like her. I don't know if Kyle didn't like her because Amanda didn't like her. But the first episode of this new season, they're sitting there having dinner at the house, and the girls are having fun and laughing, and Kyle loses his mind. You guys are so rude. You're talking while I'm talking. He really, really did not like her from the beginning. I don't know when the alcohol brand came in. However, I will say this. Kyle has a major, major stick up his ass, in my opinion. I don't know him, and I've not heard personal, I'm sure he's probably the nicest guy ever to meet at a party at a club. I'm sure if you go to one of Kyle's DJ events or a Loverboy event, he is like the bee's knees. He's probably so nice with his fans. I can just see that about him. He seems like, honestly, loves people, loves socializing. But I truly think, notice how I said truly, Kyle, are you going to get upset because I didn't say I Loverboy think? I truly White Claw think that the spritz of it all is that Kyle is so insecure. This is my impression, my armchair therapist of it all. He's so insecure about something about himself that he overdrinks, over parties, never wants to really truly grow up. Truly never wants to grow up. And also goes after confident, strong people. He hates Lindsay. He's not been nice to Paige many times. He's a bitch to his own wife. And he's been pretty shitty to Hannah. Name, I guess Sierra is maybe the only girl he hasn't really gone after. The fact that we had one of the craziest arguments ever on Summer House between Paige and Sierra against Kyle. One of the craziest we've seen, honestly, between a girl and a guy on that show, and it wasn't brought up at the reunion, still to this day blows my mind. Still to this day, I feel like I was drugged and like missed a good portion of that show. I will tell you this. Going back to Love Island. In Love Island terms, you know the moment when they're watching movie night and Nicole, Kendall's girl, keeps seeing all these clips of Kendall kind of like being an asshole about the girls. He's dangerous because he's nice to everyone's face, but he talks shit behind their back. Kyle is dangerous because he will literally blow up and throw you under the bus no matter what, all the time. How in the world can Amanda stay married to this man? I would be really concerned. Lance has never once got into a screaming argument with a girl. Never. Not to my knowledge. There was one time he ever had a conversation, and it was like a DP, like it was like another camera person, and they were arguing about like a safety issue. That was the only time I think I've ever had a conversation with him ever about him in conflict with a girl. Like, it doesn't happen. There's something weird about this. And I don't know myself, like I just personally cannot even imagine having a husband who attacks my friends verbally. Like, it wouldn't fly. It wouldn't fly. It's kind of like the Tom Sandoval and Katie Maloney situation. The fact that Ariana just like stood by while Tom Sandoval was a dick to all the girls over the years. It's so weird. Oh, also Maya, he went after Maya. I can't remember that. Anyway, I mean, they really should just call it Summer House presented by Loverboy. They protect this guy. Maybe Andy Cohen's getting a little, fun from Kyle under the table. That's something's going on there. It's weird. Okay. So a lot of people go back and forth over why Hannah Berner got fired, but regardless, even though she went through such a challenging time at the time, she had nothing. She lost her job. She had no money. Look at where her life has gone because of that fail, because of that no, because of that roadblock. She then went on to be a co-host on one of the top podcasts, especially like female-driven top podcasts. Giggly Squad is always like in the top 20 of all podcasts or top 30 of all podcasts. That's a huge deal. They get millions and millions and millions of downloads. They go on live shows and they sell out. They sell out their merch. They just wrote a book. She just got a Netflix special that is a huge deal. She's going to be, heading up stadiums or whatever, arenas, theaters. Like, this girl is fine. So to me, I honestly think everything works out for a reason. Summer House did not bring the best out of her, but now we get to see her and she's really funny. She talks in this first special about how queefing is just like farting and farting could be a queef. And for that, I'm going to leave you guys there. So I hope everyone has an incredible rest of your Thursday, 7-11. I will see you tomorrow. If you have any questions, I see some comments coming in about like members only live from last night or Patreon or whatever. I'm trying to think the best way to contact me because I get a lot of messages and I'm trying so hard to get through them. But if you have any questions for me, join the Facebook group. You can post something in the Facebook group to ask a question, or maybe leave a comment here and someone else will comment, or I can try to come back and see it. But I want to make sure that I can help you guys all with your admin. I need an assistant. I'll talk to you guys later. Have an amazing rest of your Thursday. Bye, dosers.